It's 8 o'clock. I'll call the Whitley County Redevelopment Commission to order October the 14th, 2025. This time I'll take roll call. Teresa Basinger,
Present.
Frank Kessler,
Present.
John Myers,
Present.
Mike Schrader,
Present.
Jill Wester,
Here.
and I'm here. Okay, first thing on the agenda is the Impact CNC Training Grant.
So as I brought up last couple of meetings, some really great things going on out at Impact, and just still can't get over how you changed the footprint and the outcome of a building that was really in pretty sad shape, and the amount of investment that Impact is making. But they continue to make more investment in the building and in their workforce, especially some of the sophisticated training they're going to do. And so, we would like to, I'm proposing a training grant of $75,000 over the next couple of years for the employees that they're going to hire. Chris has already reviewed the document. It's very similar to the other training grants we've done, but we've got a special guest here, the new I can say new president of Impact. 8 months of Impact CNC, and he's here just to kind of give us kind of an update, what's going on, what the future looks like, and kind of the leadership at Impact. So Jake, please introduce yourself.
Yeah, thank you guys for having me today. My name is Jaron Kunkel. They call me Jake. My grandpa, my dad, my son, we're all Jaron, so that's how we differentiate ourselves. But Jerry brought me on 8 months ago as he wanted to semi-retire from the business. So done a good job getting integrated and filling things out. Sales-wise are down with the ag markets and just the industry in general. So I would say the business has done a pretty good job overall, just stabilizing. But as we're picking back up, our goal and our future here over the next 3 years is to get back to 100 million in sales. We're in about 70 million in sales this year. We brought on 30 people year to date, and we've got another 30 people that we're gonna onboard in 26 is what we're projecting. And I'm sure you guys hear it from all the industry, finding good talent outside, it's not there. We have to develop our own people. So giving people within our factory the opportunity for, becoming engineers, becoming maintenance guys, becoming supervision, it takes a strong focus for our leadership team to build that bench strength and build these people up. So, we've got a lot of plans for leadership development training. We have robotics within the factory. I don't know Dale and whoever else wants to. You guys can come out to the factory today and I'll give you guys a tour of what we have going on out there. But you'll see quite a bit of automation. Again, finding people from the outside and hiring contracted services is not our long-term plan. We want to develop our people within our factory and again, give them opportunities to rise up within the organization. We just brought on a process engineer from a local business here that's going to be idling their facility. So, finding homes for people that do have the skill set, but more so focused on how we're developing our people internally is how we're going to reach our strategic goals moving forward. So,
And so the grant amount is for the next 2 years, up to 50 people, and typically we do somewhere between 800 and 1,200 per employee. I think we did 800 for Ultra, but that training was kind of basic. And so this agreement that I'm requesting for the commission to consider is 1,500 an employee because of the sophisticated kind of training they're doing and their quality work and their geometric dimensioning and tolerance training and the robotics. So some pretty good skill sets for the county.
So how long in this training?
So as the agreement states, it's up to 2 years from the date it's signed. So 2 years to hire those folks.
What, were you at Impact before, Jake, or did you come from somewhere else?
Yeah, I came from another facility, so It was Bushy, Mobex, Linamar. I spent 26 years there in Noble County.
Okay.
Which was Jerry's first business.
Yeah,
that he
yeah,
started.
yeah.
So when Jerry parted ways, I had stayed over there, and then eventually, as he was talking about retiring, he ended up bringing me over to this side.
That's
so
great.
This industry, this business, I mean, we're doing a lot of the same things. I really like the niche that Jerry has over here a lot better than what I was doing as part of the Bushy Mobex Impact Group, and that was automotive. You know, it's a race to the bottom. Jerry has very large, complex castings. There's only a few CNC manufacturers that compete with Jerry in the business that he's built. So it definitely differentiates itself very well.
Did you start when you were 8?
I started. I was 18. I have a presentation, but that's okay. You know, my wife and I, we've been married 19 years. We have 4 children. I had my first kid when I was 18. We have 3 granddaughters and 4th on the way. So we have a pretty large family, and you know, when I'm not working, that's really my passion and you know, my desire to keep working and pushing hard is really just fighting for my family and their future. So.
You don't look like a grandpa.
No?
No?
Again, starting at 18, and I started pretty young. I think my son had his first kid when he was 21, so you know, I'm 44 years old. And,
The boots are slacking.
It all happens quick. Yeah.
Pays to court today.
Well, the commission has any more questions?
Did I miss how many employees it was
So
for?
up to
I'm
50.
sorry.
Up to 50, but, you know, they have, I don't have the numbers, but
Okay.
they're one of the largest payrolls and well above the county average currently, and so, and they also have a edge retention grant with the state of Indiana, so, the state's also helping with some grant money as they continue to hire. So the training grant reimbursement agreement in front of you is up to 50 employees and up to $75,000 in training, and up over the next 2 years.
What's your starting wage?
$19 an hour.
Jake, if it's not confidential, what new areas are you planning to get into? I know, you know, one of his main things out there was the large castings for
Yeah.
John Deere and
Yeah.
that type of thing. Where do you move from there to keep business expanding?
No, that's a good question. You know, there's a lot of opportunities. Ag is our number 1, so John Deere is our number 1 customer. Toyota Material Handling is our number 2 customer, so that's the forklift industry, and that business is actually booming. We're growing quite a bit. We have $13 million in new jobs that we've been awarded this year that we'll be launching in 26 and beyond. Again, at the growth rate I mentioned, going from 70 to 100, $10 million a year is our, you know, our baseline that we have to grow at. So looking at 26, we beat that. But you know, what we do is, and this is a slogan again I've got in my presentation and that I put in front of my team every day, is we protect the world, we move the world, and we build the world. And feed the world, sorry. So in the ag, we're feeding, in the construction, and the power generation, you know, is that side of the business. But recently, we launched a program with Rolls-Royce, where we're making connecting rods for the military engines. So that's where protecting the world comes into play, you know, that we're helping build those engines. There's also some opportunities with AM General that's not too far from here. They build the JLJT vehicles, so there's quite a large package that we're quoting through them. I would say, you know, just growing our current business with Toyota Material Handling. They acquired Raymond, who's on the electrification side of forklifts. So we've got a lot of new opportunities with Raymond as well, but really staying in that same industry, but growing with Rolls-Royce, trying to bring on AM General as a customer is a big focus of ours. Caterpillar, you know, those large construction industries is what we're trying to stay in. But really to avoid the race to the bottom, we try to avoid the easy parts that anyone can do. You know, we want the more complex parts, which again requires a strong skill set of our people. So, does that answer your question?
Yes.
Okay, good.
Great stuff.
Yeah.
Exciting.
I think several of us here really endorse investing in people as far as upgrading their training and their skills and so forth. So this sounds to me like this falls right in line with the things that we like to do.
Yep. Yeah, it's really important to us. You know, our how we're going to get where we need to be is we want to be the employer of choice. You know, we want people to be happy with the choice to come to work for us, and that involves showing them a plan forward. You know, how do we grow those people more so than pay a raise and extra vacation time, which they already have a great schedule there at our facility where they get 7 days off every other week. Is really when you invest in your people, when you listen to that feedback that people are giving you, and that's what we're hearing, and that's what our people want. But you know, we want to be the employer of choice, customer of choice, and investor of choice. And although Jerry's semi-retired, he's still our main investor, and we want him to continue investing.
He's still Jerry.
Yeah. And you know, Jerry and Aaron and Scoon, I don't know how much you guys know them, but they are our two largest investors in Impact, and they are both very appreciative of all of the support that you guys have given them over the years to get where they're at, and hopefully be strong support as we continue to grow and move forward.
I'd like to make a motion that we go ahead and approve the training grant, or up to $75,000 for the next 2 years. Yeah.
Second.
We have first and second. Any further discussion? There being none, all in favor, raise your right hand. All them opposed, say. Let's show that it passed.
Been a good employer in this county and appreciate it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Chris is.
And I've got a copy of this, so.
Let's let you, before you leave, if you could sign
Yeah.
that. Chris is.
Can I review?
Yeah, oh, yeah, if you need to look at it, put it up here. Yeah.
Just sign your name.
Yeah.
You guys get me fired for my first year anniversary.
You have more time to spend with the kids.
Yeah, that's right. It won't be as fun for them.
Well, we'll move on then. Whitley County Environmental Infrastructure Grant.
So, I brought this up, I believe, the last time, that, well, they're not, they used to be in the TIF, or part of their business. They're building a new building that is adjacent to the TIF, and a little bit different than, obviously, an Impact, but the company is All Pro Towing and, you know, the Columbia City Iron and Metal and a few others. And they do have some, while it's not a lot of employment, they do have some pretty high-paying wages for some of the jobs they're doing there. And so the request I have, and I don't have anything formal, I just want to make sure you were on board with this, and I'll describe it here in a second, and then maybe the next meeting we'll do an official, either some kind of request or agreement that we'll vote on and sign on. But, and Nathan can help a little bit. So they're trying to get they have to do 600 feet of boring. Originally, they thought they were gonna be able to connect right where AGA is, because they're just to the north of AGA where they're building this property. And, but they can't connect through there for several reasons. I think the PDQ folks who currently own PDQ are looking to maybe acquire the AGA building stable. So they have to come like 600 feet to connect the sewer line. And they got 2 quotes to do it. One was like, I think 22,000, and the other was 25,000. I have the quotes here, and again, I'll do something more formal at the next meeting that we can vote on, but I wanna know the commission's, the interest or the appetite to support this expansion and new building, and if you would be agreeable to pay some or all of this connecting fee. And I think Nathan can maybe make more sense out of my rambling.
They need to connect onto water and sewer. It's farther away and more expensive than they originally thought. Are we covering gas too?
No.
Okay. Gas is also an issue, but I think they're going to go a different route with that. So the nearest connection points are down here. They thought they would be able to tie into AGA, but they actually have to come down farther. So winds up being significantly more than what they had originally planned on.
So where's the parcel? Is it
It is this triangle piece right here.
okay, got it.
Sorry.
Yeah, got you.
Is that up by W.A. Jones and Sons?
Yeah, it's across from it. It's the one with the building going up right now.
Yeah, that money to hook up.
Oh, yeah, sorry, the hookup is down beside W.A. Jones, yes.
Is that floodplain? Well, I guess you would have worked that out before they started building.
Right, they actually, this parcel is about 2/3 in the floodplain. The remaining third, they had to do legwork to show previous owners had filled it, legally filled it about 25, 30 years ago.
Okay.
And nobody since actually did the paperwork to say, hey, it's out of the floodplain. So Whitley Environmental actually did for SNK stuff.
Where's the access on the, right there?
Their driveway is into Williams Drive.
Okay.
So all the utilities come off of Williams Drive, except for gas, which I think has to come from Texas or someplace. I'm kidding. It's not right across the road like what you would think. NIPSCO quoted them a very high number to get it from across 30 or somewhere.
Mhm.
So they're actually utilizing what was a unusable parcel of land to construct their building on.
Correct. Yeah, it is a tow truck garage and impound yard, so it's not a very high intensity use. Also, they can't do too much intense because it is 2/3 in the floodplain. And also, I have the TIF area on here, so reminder, this is adjacent to but not in the TIF as well.
And we can use TIF money adjacent.
Yeah, I mean, it's really you just need to get it to the edge of the TIF, right? Because that's so. I mean, I think you very easily say that you're paying for local public improvements that are in the allocation area because they're just going to connect once it gets to their property. So it's really just extending the line.
Yeah, that's a fair way of putting it.
Mm-hmm.
Basically, the extension area from the connection point to the property is within the TIF, right?
Yeah,
Correct.
correct.
So, and do remember that Whitley Environmental, SNK stuff, and whatever other names they go by, their main operations are farther south on Williams Drive, Cardinal Drive. So that will still remain. This is simply a base of operations for their tow trucks and, again, impound.
And that gets you more of like the serving the TIF since they're, inside the TIF and that's, supplementing their activities within the TIF.
Yeah.
And like I said, while this isn't typical of manufacturing or some of the things that go on there, they have over $1.5 million in annual payroll and pretty decent wages, and they provide a needed service to the community.
And you said these, not a lot of jobs, but relatively high wages. So
Yeah, there's only new jobs, there's only 2 or 3,
Mhm.
but pretty high wages, and I think it's got more to do that provide a pretty good local service to the community. And Chris, I don't, like I say, I have 2 quotes because they were working on this. But depending on the commission's pleasure, whether they wanted to pay for all of it or up to a certain amount, I don't know what we would need as far as quotes. And we would actually pay the vendor directly, correct?
Yeah, so if it's, I think you had said that it's expected to be less than $50,000.
Yes, way less, yeah.
So we would just wanna this would qualify as public work, so we would just wanna solicit 3 quotes. Don't actually have to get 3 back, but solicit 3 quotes since we expect it to be less than
Okay,
50.
I can have them get the 3rd.
Can we wait until you get that third one, or you want to?
Yeah, but I would like to, they're on hold on what they're trying to decide what they're gonna do. I mean, if there's some interest in helping in some way, I'd like to know that. And if anybody has a comment or a feel on how much they would like to assist.
What did you say these numbers are?
They've got a quote from Wygent, which is kind of hard to understand, but I think it's around 23,000, and they have a quote from Extreme Dirt Works, which is 25,000.
Okay. Well, and again, kind of like when we were talking with the training grants, this is money if we're putting in, it's not gonna go anywhere, so even, if something else went in there later, we'd still have the investments to have all the water and the sewer and everything there for the next people to come along, so.
If that's run down there, Dale, then is there a possibility you could tap on to something else down in there would build, or that's all
Maybe, but
wetlands?
this is about, I mean, I don't think Nathan's gonna let anybody build around there.
So,
Those woods aren't,
Yeah.
behind the woods aren't buildable, and they're in floodplain too.
okay.
It's not in the TIF, but you certainly helping the county get some assessed value where they normally never would.
Do you know how much the building,
The building it looks like it's gonna be around 350,000 for the building.
okay. 1.5%, what's it, that's union?
Yeah, I think it's actually, it might be Columbia, which would be higher. I'd have to check it.
Oh, yeah, it's union.
Oh, it is? Okay, so, hang on, stop yelling at me.
Sorry, I keep asking questions.
No, these are good.
Well, and my thinking is, if, let's say,
So it's,
you know,
so it's about 4,500 in real property tax a
Okay.
year we'd be collecting. So, if you wanted to do like 3 years worth.
4 or 5 years.
4 or 5
It'd
years.
pay itself back,
You'd pay it back.
and that's not including the seed it and other stuff.
Right, and the low it and all that.
Well, that's going away anyway.
Oh, well, that's right. I guess I would be in favor of it, subject to, what the numbers come back, but a 4 or 5 year payback's a pretty good deal, and then it's,
Okay, well, then you don't have to vote on anything, and the next meeting, I'll give you some advanced materials that work with either Andy or Chris on something, and it'll be somewhere around the $20,000 to $24,000, and I'll have a 3rd quote, Chris, or at least request a 3rd.
Now, they're just using that for storage for their trucks? I mean, they're not gonna haul cars or nothing?
Yeah, and I think they're gonna work on the trucks in there and some other things. That's a good question. I'll find that out what all's being done.
Yeah, it's primarily storage, but yeah, if there's some light repairs or whatever, they would do that there rather than having everything burned down.
Did you look at like what it's gonna look like from 30 when people are coming by? I mean, is there any?
I've got a rendering of it, I'll send that to you as well.
Okay.
Yeah, it's not spectacular, but it's not ugly.
It's, right. It's a little outside the normal request, but this is a local small business that really could use the help, because they in no way thought they were gonna have this. They thought it was just gonna be a few bucks to go across the road.
Okay, you bring him back at the next.
Thank you.
meeting, yeah. Anything else on that before we move on? Project updates? Freedom, Project Freedom?
So on the way in, I stopped by out there, I drove by. The barn is 2/3 disassembled. So if you have desire to go out and see a half-gone barn, you have a day or two more. Yeah, I know.
Let me get out there today.
It's still, I mean, those beams are still
Well, that's true.
impressive from,
That's true.
even from the road. They're massive. And I think, I believe the fire department has started doing some work out there as well over the last few weeks, of course. As expected, that's going to be a while. Brent and I are still going to go out and try and clear out some more personal property out of the house, just because it's still usable things, furniture and so on. So I think we had a sign issue still.
Yes, yeah, so Brent and I met with a gentleman from Blue River.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't know why that didn't sound right.
Blue Digital?
Yeah, Blue River Digital to do, maybe use the existing billboard, and I think that gentleman also, he's crafting a rendering that we can look at. It's gonna be pretty simple, would have the EDC's phone number, and he's working with the billboard company. So the goal is to see if we can use the existing billboard, it's bigger, and we'll have some of that to present, but we kicked that off and we've started working on that.
Which one is that? Do you know what's on there right now?
I don't. I mean, I drive by that every
Yeah,
morning.
I
never
just
look at
curious.
it. Which is like, never mind, I was gonna make a comment about investing in that.
If I remember right, both billboards have attorney
Oh, okay.
advertisements on them.
Okay.
So we'd have to see, when those contracts are up. So I've also finally got a second appraisal on the Triangle Wooded lot. So Chris, we were looking about maybe doing an option on a piece of property that's kind of in the way of the property that we've acquired, the Niedermeyer property. The gentleman would entertain an option to purchase, but it would have to be the right amount. And again, he's looking for an amount that would help him replicate the property somewhere else within the county. The first appraisal, which I was a little concerned about, came in at, and again, there's two parcels. One is almost 22 acres, all the woods. And then the second parcel is about an acre, which is where the home and the outbuildings and whatnot are on. And that came in at $625,000. The second appraisal came in at $730,000. Obviously, the average of the two, but whether that property owner would actually entertain that, I'll work with him, and Brent has a good relationship with him as well. We'll work on that and see about maybe there's some kind of option we could do with them. I also we got notice today from an engineering company that they're starting to do the prep work for the interchange at 700. They wanted the commission to know that they may be on our property just doing some of the work. I want to be careful what I'm saying here. I think it would be in the best interest of the property owner to consider an option at a certain amount, because that interchange really does go that way, and we do put a boulevard in right through there. You know, I don't know, it's not gonna be as quiet and pristine as it is now with all the truck traffic, because I have heard from, the person at Essex and the person at Autoleave, because the Essex folks also got a notice from the engineering group, and they freaked out when they heard about the access to 30 on 600 maybe going away. I'm rambling, but we're making progress, and we'll work with that property owner to see if we can come up with some kind of option agreement.
Good stuff.
Anything on Overdeer Road in the park?
No, Brad hadn't given me any update on that.
And I'm gonna talk to Brad about that, because I know I had that kind of retainer not to exceed from Structure Point, which I don't think you guys love. You'd like it more of a specific kind of dollar amount for the project, so, you know, I'll work with Brad on that. I think he was talking to somebody, and I don't know who he was talking to. But, and then it comes back to, all right, well, what about access to the property? The first person I had been dealing with had taken a leave of absence for family or personal reasons, so I'm working with somebody else from BRC, and I'm waiting to hear back from them. I showed him what we were doing there and asked him, you know, would you sell us the land? Is it easement? What are you looking for? If you were gonna charge us, what's the dollar amount, or is it more important that you still have access to this road? So I was hoping we'd be farther along to know if we, you know, what it would look like to actually acquire the property to put the road in, but there's been a few hiccups. But things are moving along. Maybe not as quickly as we'd like, but they're moving.
Okay, 100 South,
Again, Brad didn't give me an update on that one.
okay. Rogers Market,
I have yet, I've got another company I just showed the building to, which is interesting. They would be a customer of SDI, so it could be pretty intriguing. The other lead they thought they had took the building in Park 30. So no real hot leads, but maybe one that makes a lot of sense to be close to SDI.
okay.
And not related to the current spec building, but Triad has met with us, you weren't part of that meeting, right,
No.
Dale? Yeah. So met with the planning office. What they are looking at doing is acquiring, this is not quite the right size, it doesn't go all the way south, but basically they're looking at acquiring this and combining it with the existing Triad facility to expand it, which does not require any real approvals other than some survey approvals. So that still keeps this road connection available for a couple more lots, and then on down into the shopper property as we may need in the future.
So just a editorial comment, not that it carries too much weight. The German company that I showed the building to did make a comment about the Triad kind of the way the steel beams just seem to be dumped on the property. So I don't know what they're gonna do on this next property, but it would, you know, if they're gonna be as, I wanna be careful, I'm gonna choose my words carefully, because we're being
Maybe
recorded.
I'll answer your statement here in
Yeah.
a sec. I said there wouldn't be any approvals needed. There would be a special exception approval. There's no subdivision approval needed. Special exception is needed for outdoor storage. I know Rogers Market is going to include some buffering as part of their purchase agreement. And special exception will have some additional buffering requirements or something like that as maybe. So they're looking at some trees or something along that, those lines along the east property line at least, and the BZA probably will do the same.
The current lead on the building probably wouldn't care because they are doing rebar work. They take rebar from the factory, so it's not like it's gonna be a German, advanced manufacturing like it was before. They probably wouldn't care as much, but, I mean, if you guys drive along that back part of Triad, it looks just like they're just dumping stuff haphazardly.
Some days it looks better than others.
Yeah, right.
Larwill still standing, John?
Yeah, I think actually after the election of the new commissioner last night, who's good friends with some of the folks that own property around there, that may be a positive for some of the things that we'd like to do for the development around Larwill. So we'll see if we get some traction on that.
I did have a residential developer who was seeking land in Whitley County, primarily in Columbia City where they have water and sewer. But I did toss out the idea of, hey, we have this really nice property that has sewer just north of the school. He wasn't exactly excited, but he wasn't scared either. So his biggest concern was having to go through Larwill to get to that. It didn't have any real visibility. So
Well, it's close to the lake too.
yes.
No, I think that would be ideal for residential down there, with it being so close to the school, and certainly would help the town. If it, were annexed into the town, would help certainly with some of the downtown area as well.
Yeah, it wouldn't directly contribute to the TIF, but indirectly more people, more activity, more prominence.
Okay. US 30.
Well, like I said, it looks like things are starting to happen, but at both 700 and 600. I wasn't sure that 600 was gonna be part of this first phase. I still don't know if that means it's gonna happen. I'll let, Nathan is just as up on this as I am, but haven't heard that if Buck Road is part of this as well, if Buck Road happens, then 800, that what might happen at 800 would be in play. But I think what they're working on right now is just 700 and 600.
Yeah, and that makes sense because they were parallel projects. 6 and 7 were separate, but on the same timeline as the other package.
So the vacating 800, I think, is still way out in the future.
Okay. Any walkthroughs?
Well, if you want to, whoever, I know it's not a lot of notice, Jake's willing to do something after the meeting if you guys want to go out there and go to Impact. I know we were there not that long ago, but that's available. And if you want to go and it's not today, we can schedule something.
Anybody interested in doing that today?
I can, I've got a meeting right after this.
Yeah, I've
I
been
mean, I
heading
can
to
give
Fort
you-
Wayne, but it'd be on the way.
I'd like to schedule something.
Yeah,
I'd like to go over there.
I'll get with Jake and
Okay.
I'll schedule something.
Do
Because
that.
I want to see too that they've got a lot of robots and robotic arms and stuff that they've installed out there. A lot of, they just quietly have been investing millions.
Okay. We'll do that. Miscellaneous matters.
So, I have a fillable, as we've been talking about applications for grants in the TIF.
I have one.
This is a fillable PDF form.
Dale, he needs one.
Can I have one, Dale?
You gotta have, you two are gonna have, oh, here, take this.
Okay, that's okay,
I
I'll
lost,
share with
I
Mike.
lost track of how many people are here. You know, we can review this as far as, what forms they need to be, or what boxes need to be filled out. And then it's, like I said, it's a fillable PDF. I'm happy to put a link on the EDC side. I don't know that we I don't know where else we would put it. I mean, we could put it on the county government site, but I'm not sure about that. It's, because it's commission work. Or I can just, you know, if somebody has, interest, I can send them the link. So basically, it's who you are, what's the project, how does it impact the TIF? You know, what's the total overall cost of the project, and what is your request?
We're paying you to market this, so I think should be on your website, and you should
Okay.
be the front door to bring it to us.
Okay.
Well, are you intending this to be kind of a generic, any sort of grant form, training grant and or educational grant and any other grants that might come through the door?
So that, I would think of training, the training grant, I would rather not have it be that. I guess I was thinking more of, educational, or, that's a great question, Nathan.
I mean, we have the infrastructure grant as well.
Yeah.
So tell us what you want. I mean, it's basic contact info and what you're doing and how long is it gonna take, so it could go in quite a few different places, yeah.
Yeah, because I didn't say, I think I just said grant request on it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I can maybe, if anybody does, like, it could be the start of a training grant before we get to the actual agreement, so yes, Nathan. I'll figure out how to, I'll get it on my website and get a landing page for it, and then we can just direct, anybody who express interest, we can just direct them to that.
Okay. Claims?
None. Not even from Carson.
That's, okay, we got some minutes from our previous meeting. Has everybody had a chance to go through it? If they have, I'll entertain a motion.
Just one minor correction. In the project updates as needed, it refers to Mr. Gilliam. It's Dr. Gilliam.
I would move to approve with that edit.
Second?
Okay, we've got a first and second. Any further discussion? There being none, all in favor, raise your right hand. All of them opposed, the same. So it passed. Okay. Jill, you have anything? Steve?
Or Steve.
It's fine to do.
Dale, anything else? Anything from the higher ups?
Nothing.
No, sir.
Michael?
No.
John? Frank?
Nothing further.
Nathan? I have none. So we'll stand adjourned.